This King's Bench case was heard in 1688, but not published until nearly 100 years later. It followed on from a riot in the ancient town of Tring in Hertfordshire, which caused damage to property. The charge against Berchet was brought by what was called an information, so a formal document informing the court that the king wished for a matter to be tried. The defendant argued that this was the wrong process, and that they should have been tried by indictment, which was, and in fact still is, a particular type of document used to start serious legal proceedings. So the defendant argued that the whole matter should be thrown out on this technicality. When it got to the King's Bench, the defendant was no longer represented, so counsel for the king made their arguments, and the court simply agreed with those arguments. So the judgment in this case really comes from the submission made by the counsel for the king. One of those arguments related to a piece of legislation passed around 1369 in the reign of King Edward III. The statute said that nobody should be required to face criminal proceedings without presentment before the justices, or matter of record, or due process of law according to the old law of the land. Presentment in this sense was very clearly understood to mean an indictment. Now, the argument for the king was that if an indictment was the only type of record which could start a criminal proceeding, then the words "or matter of record" would be superfluous, and this was not allowed. Counsel stated, "Now it is a known rule in the interpretation of statutes that such a sense is to be made upon the whole as that no clause, sentence, or word shall prove superfluous, void, or insignificant, if by any other construction they may all be made useful and pertinent." The judges agreed with this argument, which has since been cited in the High Court. It remains the rule to this very day that when interpreting a statute, every word in the statute and every section in the statute is assumed to be there for a reason, and is assumed to have some work to do. You can't just ignore the bits that don't seem to fit. A very old rule with very modern consequences.